you get to the place where you just admit what is that you can't change about yourself, you kind of change your perception of that. It's like, well, this is kind of reality. That's the thing is, I'm going to meet people in person. So if I say I'm 6'2", they're going to find out quickly.
When you start actually having reverence for who you really are behind the scenes when no one's watching, you don't really need to fake it anymore. It's this weird thing. And then you have a different problem, which is basically no one thinks you're that great because you're not showing anything off.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. Today, for episode number 1799, you'll never get full-time results with part-time effort.
Mm-hmm.
I found this guy on Instagram, and it's I don't know his handle, but he tests out side hustles that people say are extremely easy to do, to figure out whether or not they're extremely easy to do.
Cool.
And
it's like a side hustle Mythbusters.
Kind of. Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, that's kind of his thing. He says, I wasted my time so you don't have to. And here's the results.
Truth. Yeah.
For lack of better phrasing. And I saw one yesterday that he did. And a beautiful young lady jumps on the camera. And she says, I'm going to teach you how to make $5,000 extra a week from Etsy. And then it's like a remix. So he remixes her video. And then he jumps in and says, all right, I wasted my time so you don't have to. And then he goes through the thing.
Cool.
And this video that she put up basically said something that we've been talking about very, very often, where all you have to do is you have to sell 100 $50 products a week, and you're making $5,000 a week. 100 times 50 is 5,000. That's 5 G's a week. That's 60 G's a year.
By the way.
Yeah.
That's way more than 60. Hold on.
$5,000.
52.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, what's way more than that?
That's $240K a year.
Yeah. Whoa, that's $5,000 a week is
yeah. Sorry about that. That's
$240 $250,000 business right there.
Yeah, you're crushing it.
Yeah,
and it's that easy. All you have to do is.
Oh yeah, no problem.
You can sell stickers on Etsy, and then next thing you know, you'll be breaking in $250,000 a year. That's a lot of money. Whew.
I coached a young lady she had digital art. She did digital art for picture your favorite family photograph with your pets in it and a good background, and she creates a digital art version of it.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, and she uses Etsy, I think. She had her own website. It was a whole thing. And she has been doing this back when I coached her in 2022, she had been doing this for probably 5 years, like as a side hobby. Not a side hustle, a side hobby. And then it turned into money and this, that, and the other thing. And the amount of effort, the reason why we stopped coaching amicably was the amount of effort that she had to put in. She eventually said, Alan, I don't really want to put that much effort into this. And I said, okay, no worries. She could have scaled that business. With very minimal effort. So actually, she was probably making $1,000 a month or something, or $500 a month, with kind of just referral business and different people who wanted wedding photos and different things. But she didn't want to put any more than like 10 solid focused hours a week into it. Yeah. And if she wanted to go full time, she probably could have built a business like what that person's saying. But it would take at least 5 more years, and it would take at least 30 hours a week minimum of like focused effort. And so in the real world, and she already had momentum too, because she had been doing this for years and years and years as a hobby. Yeah. So there's just so much fine print that they aren't saying.
I saw something super funny. Shout out to Richard in our community. Good dude. Really good dude.
Richard just became a client. Shout out to Richard.
Did he? Yeah. Shout out to Richard.
Yeah.
He messaged me the other night, and he screenshotted a podcast advertisement.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And he was like, hey, man, what do you think about this? He's like, you've probably seen so many of these. What do you think about this? Do you think it's a scam or what? And on the ad, it said this podcast has over 20 million downloads in 226 countries. And I Googled
No.
how many countries are there?
195.
195 or 196. And I said, this is how I know it's a scam. There aren't even that many countries.
They did not do that.
I swear to you they did.
No.
I swear to you.
That's so depressing.
I swear
it bothers
to you.
me so much.
For me, it is so incredibly funny. It is so incredibly funny to
226
me.
countries. This is why numbers will save your life. I know I'm obsessive math guy.
I know.
No one can lie to you when you actually know statistics.
Well, that's an easy one to. And again, I'm not.
God.
Richard knew it was a scam, so it's not
Couldn't
like
you
he
have
did.
said 226.
You could have said anything. All you had
could
to
have
say
said
was
anything.
every country in the world. That's all. If you said that, you would have been good. You would have been
226. That has to be a joke.
I don't know. But I can tell you that they're lying.
Of course.
Fairly certain
Yeah.
at this point. It's you guys are lying because that would be something you would know.
I literally mentioned to Kev. I reached out to Kev recently. This is for the listeners just behind the scenes. I said, "Hey man, I know that we're heard in over 155 countries just on Buzzsprout, but do you think it's aligned to say 175 countries because YouTube and SoundCloud, which is the platform we originally, like in my bio, it says 175 plus countries. I said, is it aligned for us to say that? And then we thought about it with YouTube. Of course, right?
Yeah.
And even that is outside my comfort zone because it's, well, what if it was 174? What if it was 173? I don't think it is. I really don't. So, but dude, that just bothers me so much. It does. It bothers me so much.
It's extremely comical to me.
If you can choose one thing in life, this is not at all the point of the episode. Just be honest with yourself and others. Your whole life will change when you just start being really honest. I was on a podcast recently, and I triggered this guy so bad because I got on the show. He didn't do any research. It's okay. It is what it is. I understand people are busy. I'm busy too. Sometimes I don't do research. And he said something along the lines, and you can tell. There's just tells. When you podcast for long enough, there are tells with who is really a strong podcaster, who has a strong listener base, and who doesn't. And we produce how many shows? 40 plus shows at this point.
47?
47 shows. Okay, so we know the stats. We know the numbers. We know our clients' numbers. We know the truth. And this guy said something. He said something along the lines of, yeah, man, we're racking in about 60,000 listens per episode. And he could see in my energy. There's no possibility that that's true. I already researched your show. You have 14 reviews, maybe even less. I think this might have been the show with 2. I'm not sure. I know one of the shows that day had 14 reviews. The other one had 2. If you look, you want to know a tell for podcasters, you got to look at the reviews. Now, some podcasters buy reviews, and there's 500 reviews, all 5 stars. That's obviously not real. Yeah. And so there's a correlation. And again, keep in mind that the reviews in podcast app only show the reviews in your country. So it's going to be lower reviews than a global show or whatever. So, but he only had 2 reviews and I'm in the US, and the US is the biggest podcast market. One of the biggest. So it's impossible. There's no possibility that this guy had those. He got so triggered that he almost couldn't interview me the rest of the interview. At the end of the interview, I said to him, is this not even a line? Do you not want to do this? Don't even air this if you don't want to. He's like, no. I want to. I've never been interviewed by a less enthusiastic host in my entire life. It's almost like, and I think I know what happened, and I could be wrong, so I'm holding that humility. I don't think that I am. I think that he has been lying to himself for so long that when he finally lied to someone else and knew that I knew that there's no possibility, I think he got triggered and got stuck in shame. And when he was stuck in shame, he kind of couldn't follow through with the interview. Because I think he realized in that moment, while interviewing me, obviously this is what I do for a living. This is all we do. We are podcasters. We podcast all week, every week. The only week you're not podcasting is when you're at PodFest next week. I mean, this is
I'm still going to bring my mic. I'll do a Podcast Growth U episode while I'm there for sure.
Nice. That's awesome.
That's always cool.
But this is what we do, right? So I think he realized that he was caught in a lie, and I just wanted to share that with everybody because when you lie to yourself and you lie to others, sometimes you start convincing yourself of your own lies, and that always has to eventually catch up with you, and I think it creates shame.
It makes sense. I mean, and that's, you might be thinking, how is that connected to this episode? A lot of people are telling you you're going to get the results that they've gotten with less effort than they've invested. And yeah, if you work with Alan as a business coach, he can help you make things faster. Mm-hmm. If you work with me as a podcast coach, I can help you make things faster. But it's not going to be, okay, it took me 7 years, it's only going to take you 7 days. No. No. It doesn't work that way. And again, this, I don't know, we're in a streak of what potentially seem like negative episodes. The only reason this might seem like a negative episode is because there's so much false information out there about how you're going to accomplish your goals.
There's a speaker, I don't really like to say the names of speakers anymore. Anyways, Tony Robbins, he says this, he says turning decades into days. Do you think that that's
bullshit?
Yeah. It's irresponsible, right? A little bit?
Yeah. Yes, I can give you tactics and takeaways and expectations.
That took me decades to create.
Yes.
But you can't ignite the compound effect.
I cannot collapse experience.
Yeah. Like I do say this to some of my clients sometimes. I say, I had a 16-year-old client, 18-year-old client. I said, it took me 30 years to figure out what I'm teaching you now. That doesn't mean that you're going to implement it and it's going to work like magic. But it did take me a long time to actually figure that out. So maybe that's what they're trying to say. I don't know.
I think people just say stuff that sounds good on marketing, and that's one thing we don't really do. The furthest I will take it is for group coaching when we say, if you want to be the most consistent, fulfilled, aligned version of yourself over the next 90 days. That is my belief for group coaching. Yeah. You're not going to leave a millionaire unless you're already close to being a millionaire.
If you make $900,000 a year, you might be a millionaire by the end of it.
Yeah, that's right. There you go. But it's not. I don't know. It's very strange.
NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know, if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes.
I was watching something last night because I watch weird stuff, and I'm always thinking to myself, like, am I wasting my time when I'm watching this? And oftentimes,
I think the same thing sometimes. Right, sure. I know you know that. Even when you open this episode, I'm like, what does he do when he's not podcasting? He's just like watching these random things.
I watch videos that help me understand how many people are actually lying. That's kind of what I'm doing. There was a video I watched last night. And you know how there's like bodybuilding fitness expos?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
There's a guy that goes there, and he'll walk up to someone and say, "Hey, man, you're looking good. What are you weighing nowadays?" And it's usually guys. I don't think he really does it to women. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm weighing about 350 right now. Just putting on muscle." Be like, "How tall are you again?" 6'4". And he'll pull out a scale, and he'll pull out a tape measure and say, "All right, you mind if I get your weight? If I verify that weight?"
No.
Dude, people lose their mind. They absolutely lose their mind because most of them are lying.
Why would they lie?
Because that's like a vanity stat. I was literally thinking to myself, if that ever happened to me, if somebody came up to me and was like, "Hey, man, what are you weighing nowadays?" I'd probably 173.5 this morning.
About 4 bills.
Yeah. How tall are you?
About 5'8".
About
4 bills.
About 5'4", maybe. About 5'4.5". They would be so disappointed in the fact that I am so aware of, because it's my insecurity. So of course I'm going to call out my insecurity, but I don't know, man. We live in a very strange
I'm
time.
6'1 3/4", but I say 6'2". So there's always a little bit, right?
That's different.
Yeah.
That's different.
What was the guy? Was he actually 6'2", 250?
One said he was 6'9", he was 6'7.5" with shoes on. The weights were close. It's the height that a lot of guys are lying about. Yeah. A lot of them wouldn't even let him. They wouldn't let him do it, and then they got very angry at him. And I
Whenever
understand.
someone gets angry, by the way, that is a tell.
Well,
because if you are telling the truth, why would you get angry, right?
Because their thing is, well, you just assume I'm lying. It's disrespectful for you to assume that I'm lying.
Yeah.
I think in my mind, it's like you're in an industry that's full of liars. I'm not saying you are lying, but there are a lot of people in your industry, just like in ours.
You ever done steroids?
Mm-mm. Yeah, and it's like
350,
yeah,
5'8".
What do you mean?
What do you mean, man?
Even in our industry, I would understand if somebody came to me and said, "Hey, I don't really believe what you guys are saying in terms of how many down." Like, I would understand.
Isn't that
for
just awareness, though? Yeah, it's just awareness.
It's awareness, and it's the fact that there's a lot of people that just aren't telling the truth. Because there are certain things that you can easily lie. I can lie about the amount of money I have in my bank account. You can't see it. I can lie about the amount of podcast listens we have. There's no way for you to find out.
God, that's so depressing.
I can't lie about YouTube views because it says. Can't lie about YouTube subscribers because it says.
Yeah, we're coming up on about 3 million subscribers.
3 million today, I think. We actually
I think
had 3
it was
million.
3 million.
Yeah, 3 million signed up today. They're joining
it's
today.
Not. It's definitely not.
It's at 1,100 or something.
Yeah.
But that's really, that's my goal in this episode is you're not going to get full-time results with part-time effort. And there are going to be a bunch of people that are trying to convince you of that for the rest of time. Do you want to know why? Because if you get enough people that are trying to do part-time effort, you can make a full-time income. You can make a full-time income from 10 people doing part-time work if they buy your course or whatever the hell it is. So
the integrity piece needs to be
I just don't want anybody to... I know we've been like really talking about this a lot lately, but I think we're just catching up on the fact that we didn't talk about it for a long time because I didn't know how bad it was. And I didn't know... I mean, there are some people at the very, very top of our industry who everybody listening to this podcast knows that got where they got to by not being very truthful.
Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure.
I just don't want you to fall victim to that. That's all.
I have a little cheat code around this. What you want to do is you want to ask someone's best friends. Maybe not even best friends. What's a good way around this? I always say this, and I don't know if it lands, but if you really want to know who I am as a man, you don't ask some listener. You ask Emilia. She lives with me. She sees me every day. She sees my good, bad, and ugly. She sees it all. And one of my favorite parts about being with Emilia, and I'll celebrate her rather than myself, with the women that I've been with in the past, I'm a heterosexual male. I've been with women in the past, okay? Just keeping it high level here. There were times where I would, and I'm not trying to be unkind because I dated some incredible women, so please don't villainize me for this. But I remember thinking to myself, damn, you are like less behind the scenes than you are in the front of the scenes. That made me sad. And maybe this is a me thing. It made me sad because with Emilia, it's the opposite. I'm not kidding. I mean, she's harder working than anyone knows. She never is not on point, ever. It's unbelievable. And to me, I can't have reverence for someone who is pretending to be more than they are. I don't do that anymore. I just don't have reverence for that. And I did the same. When I was younger, I was pretending to be more than I was when I was insecure, so I'm guilty too. But I didn't have reverence for myself. I didn't admire myself. I deeply didn't like myself during that time. And I think that that's just a really depressing part of the world that we live in. So I think it's virtuous and courageous to be honest about your struggles and the things that you suck at. And I think there's so much good in that. And I think that you can't be fulfilled if you're not. If you are putting on a show like we've all done before, you aren't going to be fulfilled. And what if you could become the type of person who really was, imagine that same, and this is a metaphor, imagine that guy comes up to you and he goes, hey, what are you weighing, man? And you go, probably like 185 or something. And how tall are you? I don't know, like 5'3", 5'4". And then he measures you and you're actually 5'6", and you actually weigh 170 and you're like pretty ripped.
I
Dude,
hope that would happen. 5'6", give me a couple extra.
How cool, right? How cool is it to be the opposite? How cool is it to actually be better than what you're showing? Or I think that has something to it. And I think that person most likely will be more fulfilled, because I just think I've been full of it in my life at short times and short bursts. And I think as I've matured and as I've gotten older and as I've become more well-developed and more intelligent and better, I'm just less and less and less full of it. I think I just become more okay. And it's the irony, too, of when you actually become and start loving yourself. We're going to do an episode soon about that. When you start actually having reverence for who you really are behind the scenes when no one's watching, you don't really need to fake it anymore. It's this weird thing. And then you have a different problem, which is basically no one thinks you're that great because you're not showing anything off.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing. When you get to the place where you just admit what is that you can't change about yourself, you kind of change your perception of that. It's like, well, this is kind of reality. That's the thing is I'm going to meet people in person. So if I say I'm 6'2", they're going to find out quickly.
Yeah.
It's not going to take long when you see Alan and I standing next to each other and I'm not the same height as Alan. You're going to be like, what? Oh, I never
Alan
said
must
that.
be 7'10".
I never said I was 6'2". When did I say that? So again, I do believe awareness. If somebody is going to take advantage of somebody else, the person with higher awareness is going to take advantage of the fact that the person with lower awareness just doesn't know better.
Yeah.
And that's why you can tell your toddler that you're going to give them a chocolate chip cookie and then slip a carrot because they don't know. That's why you can do magic tricks with dogs.
Oh,
how dare
you with the carrot thing.
You throw your sheet up and then you hide and the dog doesn't know where you are. They just don't have awareness of how that works. And I'm not saying you're a toddler or a dog. I'm not saying that. But just as an easy example for that.
Yeah. Kevin and I hate when people get taken advantage of. And truth be told, we definitely have gotten taken advantage of.
Well, that's why we hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why
we were very naive. Holy shit.
For sure.
Yeah. Me more
Understandable.
than you, I think.
Who knows, man? I don't know. In different ways.
Hey.
No, in different ways. In different ways.
I don't know, man.
I thought all the people that I thought were super wealthy, were really, really, really super wealthy, and sometimes that's not the case.
Yeah.
I just didn't know when it came to that. So, all right, if you are
want to get to next level depressing you,
if you're looking to get to the next level and you want to be a quadrillionaire tomorrow, we have a course that's $700,000. And
you'll
no
make
money
that
back.
And yeah,
you can probably make it back today if you do it right. No money back if you don't like it. Too bad. It's whatever. It's valuable. If you don't find value in it, it's your fault. No, if you're trying to get to the next level and you are willing to put in full-time effort, make sure you are subscribed because we are here to put in full-time effort with you, with the hopes that you'll get the results you want. You'll get the self-worth. You'll get the self-belief. You'll get the self-love. You'll get the relationship. You'll get all the stuff. But it will take work. And one thing I am committed to, and I know Alan is as well, is we are here to do the work with you. So subscribe, whether you're watching on YouTube or whatever.
I had a client, several actually people, reach out, and they died at the cinnamon episode. So
Cinnamon.
Yeah. That was
Again,
what I told Emilia that she said no.
Same thing.
No.
Same thing.
Yeah.
If you want to do that supplementary to the work you're doing, I'm all for it. But that ain't going to be the thing that makes the 90% difference. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to yuck anybody's yum, as the kids say, I think. I don't want to yuck your yum.
What?
You have yums, like yum, yum, yum. I like that. I don't want to yuck your yum. I don't want to...
Is that a thing?
That's a thing people say. I've heard it in the world.
Okay.
So I don't want to yuck somebody's yum.
Okay, fair.
Sounds kind of...
I think it was
strange.
fun to be reached out to by people laughing hysterically. I think
I'm glad people resonated with it.
we've done some good content. I have a session with a new potential coaching client later today, and I thought to myself, what am I going to say? What am I going to tell this person? Why should they coach with me? I'm going to be very, very honest with you, and the things that I am honest with you about will help you improve your life because it's based on the truth. And the best metaphor in the world, in my opinion, is if you have a GPS with the wrong current location, the wrong destination location, and the wrong data of the terrain, you're going to drive into a lake on accident and then blame yourself. When in reality, you might just not have the truth. You might have been told misinformation about yourself, others, and the world. And I'm just going to help undistort the reality, as painful as that might be. I had someone recently say, you're so good at getting to the core of the matter. And so if you're ready for that, if you're humble, courageous, and vulnerable, let's rock and roll. I promise you your life will improve. I will not promise you any millions overnight or anything crazy, but I promise you your life will improve. And yes, it will be through struggle and some hard truths that you have to accept.
100%. As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we do not have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Please reach out.